Hi guys, welcome back to the channel. Yet another Bud Light update, and things go from worse to worse for the brand, as we know, and it doesn't look like it's getting any better for them. So we have George Strait concert goers ignoring the Bud Light tent as the Dylan Mulvaney debacle rumbles on, and parent company Anheuser Busch sees $19 billion wiped off its market value. So it's definitely hitting them where it hurts. It has continued to do so because the boycott has been sustained, and that's what we want to see. Bud Light beer has been hit with another blow after fans at a George Strait concert were caught on camera deliberately avoiding the beer and plumping for other options. The brand, owned by Anheuser Busch, teamed up with transgender influencer Dylan Mulvaney for an advert during March Madness, but the decision backfired, causing the Belgium brewing giant to tank $19 billion from its market value since the advertisement on April 1st. 2 months, who would have thought it would have been this bad for the company? Footage posted on Twitter showed dozens of cans of Bud Light and other Anheuser Busch products remaining on the shelves in Columbus, Ohio, while fans of the King of Country bought other beverages. Both Budweiser and Michelob Ultra were also left on the shelves of the fridges, though it was unclear if the boycott of all Anheuser Busch products was intentional or not. Clearly it was intentional because people are realizing that Anheuser Busch owns a lot of beer products, and every day people are learning, okay, we need to add this to the boycott, we need to avoid this. Before it was just Bud Light, and obviously if it says Budweiser, you know, but there were other brands like Stella Artois, Michelob Ultra, that people didn't really think of, but people are catching on now, and that's why we're seeing other brands begin to suffer too. It's happening organically. At a George Strait concert in Columbus, Ohio, nobody is buying Bud Light. Very, very sad state of affairs for Bud Light right there. I mean, that says it all, doesn't it? One man grabbed the blue can, but it was unclear if it was Bud Light or not. Yeah, I saw that. While others continued to drink Ultras, with one person saying, but they're drinking Michelob Ultra. They're still giving money to Anheuser Busch, but they think they're doing something to the makers of Bud Light. Many were quick to praise the supposed ban on the light beer, saying, we've been to a AAA baseball game and a MLB game this season. The grab-and-go stands full of Anheuser Busch products didn't get touched. The ballparks have mostly Bud products available, and beer sales are way down. We saw that last month as well at a Boston Red Sox game where the fans basically didn't patronize the concessions for Bud Light and they went elsewhere, and it was completely empty. There were lines everywhere else apart from the Bud Light concession. So I think we're going to see more and more of that when we go to concerts, when we go to watch games. I think that's the best indicator really of how seriously people are taking this boycott. Now, it may depend on where you are, what part of the country you're in, but if you go to your local ball game and, you take a look around and see how many people are drinking Bud Light. From my experience, what I'm seeing recently, where I am, people are not drinking Bud Light. I'm noticing a trend of people filming in their local stores where there's piles and piles of Bud Light that nobody has touched. And over Memorial Day weekend, it was reported how a lot of people were sharing videos of Bud Light. Again, on a busy weekend for a beer brand, you would think, Bud Light remained on the shelves. In what is considered by many Americans to be the unofficial start to summer, instead of shelves looking depleted from a Memorial Day weekend of partying and drinking, rows of store shelves sat packed with Bud Light and Budweiser in posts shared on social media. The hit has been anecdotal, and in actual sales, which have fallen 26% since the backlash started in early April, the controversy left social media users documenting the company's carnage in real time and the dramatic effect it is having on their sales. Pictures like this. Okay, is that a $15 rebate? We're seeing a lot of posts like this. I mean, this is just commonplace now. My supermarket looks like this too. Can't give it away in Wisconsin, and we are kind of known for drinking. Longview, Texas, doing our part. Oh, wow, look at this. Sandestin, Florida. Wow. I'd be pretty disappointed if I went into my local store and saw that people were buying the Bud Light. I'd be like, what the heck is going on here? Nobody drinking Bud Light at Buckeye Superfest. Wow. Michigan. That says it all. And lastly, in Bud Light news, truck drivers who deliver Bud Light have been flipped the middle finger, and vendors have been called homophobic slurs, according to beer distributors reeling from slumping sales in the wake of the Dylan Mulvaney fiasco. And apparently, many of them have threatened to quit as well. Several top officials at beer distribution companies told ABC News they have been put in an untenable position by Bud Light St. Louis-based parent company Anheuser Busch, which has seen sales of its top brand for 6 consecutive weeks since the April the 1st tie-up with the trans influencer. Aside from harassing truck drivers, distributors have faced intentional collisions from shopping carts as they drop off Bud Light, and vendors have been called gay beer salesmen, officials for the family-owned businesses told the outlet. Wow. I feel like my main supplier has put the wholesalers and their employees in a really bad spot, one Anheuser Busch beer distributor told ABC News. It's frustrating. It's sad that they, the boycotting consumers, can't make that disconnect between the independent wholesale and the big corporation. It's disheartening. Yes, I understand that. It's, this isn't their call. They didn't make the decision. It was corporate who decided to take that strategy in terms of marketing. And the regular folk are suffering for it, probably including many who do not agree with the direction the company went in as well. I'm sure many of them also don't agree with Bud Light's decision to partner with Dylan Mulvaney.
So I recently told my parents that I may be a little bit romantically interested in women. And that was a big shock for them, considering the past 10 years of coming out as gay, then queer, then non-binary, then trans. And I think it was just a bit of a shock. So I tell my dad, and he goes, well, I would love to see you get a woman pregnant. And I said, oh, no. She would be getting me pregnant.
So many people see what Dylan is doing as one big grift. Dylan said there that, going from gay to non-binary to trans, whatever gets Dylan the most attention, it seems. So people are not buying it. People are seeing it as a mockery. And I don't blame them. And Bud Light decided to partner with this person and are now facing the consequences. A Kansas-based distributor, Passenger Distribution Company, which serves 23 rural counties in the state, told ABC News that it has seen a nearly 30% fall in sales of Bud Light since boycott calls grew early last month. And Bud Light are still yet to post on social media, or at least on their Twitter account. Anson Fredericks, an executive who left Anheuser Busch InBev last year, told ABC News, the biggest losers here are the 500 independent businesses in the US that distribute Anheuser Busch products. Those are the people really hurting, Fredericks said. Matt Pestinger, the owner of the distributor, told ABC News that he has seen a 2% drop in revenue since the Mulvaney social media posts went viral. We're stressed some because you never want to see red numbers, he said. Wow. Pestinger has resisted cutting costs. To make up for the shortfall, he has spent more on sponsorships of local festivals and charities, he told ABC News. Okay. So do you feel bad for the distributors and the local, small businesses who are suffering as a result of the boycott? Or do you think that's Anheuser Busch's fault? And it's up to them to look after their people because they're suffering due to their ill-advised marketing strategy. They're the ones who are suffering. The fact that they alienated their customer base and they decided that they were too good for the out-of-touch fratty people. They decided, to go for the Gen Z and completely ignore who their core customer base are. Their truckers, their distributors, the businesses who rely on them are now suffering. Our business philosophy is to take care of the community and the community takes care of you. We're doubling down on that, Pestinger said. An official at High Plains Budweiser, a Nebraska-based distributor, told ABC News, "In the end, the people hurt the most are the local small business retailers, the wholesalers in your community." The Kansas-based distributor told ABC News that while sales have slipped, there have been signs that they are picking up again. The Pacific Northwest-based distributor agreed, telling ABC News, "I think the bad times are behind us. We do have a game plan if it does come to that level of severity," the distributor said. Well, clearly they're not really up that much, as has been reported this week. But if sales are going up, it's because you're buying back your own beer. It's because you're giving the beer away for free. I don't think you should shout obscenities at truckers or anything like that. No, I don't condone that. But people are turning away from the brand because they don't want to be associated with it. And it's the small businesses who are suffering. That's the route the company chose to take, and that's the route that a lot of companies are taking now. Pandering and fulfilling the wishes of the wealthy elite rather than their customer base, the people who invest in this company, the people who believed in the brand, the people who have small businesses, the distributors, the truckers, and everyday regular people. I don't think the guilt trip is going to work. I think it's the company, the people at the top who need to fix this. And we shall see what happens. So let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. Take care of yourselves, and God willing, I will see you in the next video.